All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Krista Nisbet White, and I'm with the Career Development Center at UIS. So glad you could join us today. Today, we have Sarah Brewer, the Association Director for Youth Development at the YMCA of Springfield here, and she is going to share more about some exciting job opportunities and a little bit more about the Y. So I'm going to turn it over to Sarah. Sarah, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, and thank you for those of you who are joining us. I'd just like to share a little bit about the YMCA if you're not familiar. We are a service organization, and the YMCA of Springfield, although our branch locations are in Springfield, we serve communities in the surrounding areas as well. And the YMCA has a wide variety of programs that we offer. Our mission is to provide service to the families in our areas, and that can include everything from childcare to health and wellness opportunities to different classes that we offer on a wide variety of topics. We just really want to be able to provide service to those around us. And one of the programs that we're doing right now that is especially needful to the community is childcare. So the role that I oversee for the YMCA is the childcare that we provide, whether it be in a branch location or whether it be at an after-school site or a camping program, anything along that line. So right now with the COVID pandemic, we are trying to provide childcare to the families whose schools are going to either a hybrid model where they're at times in the classroom and at times doing remote learning, as well as in the afternoons when the children go to school and then parents need childcare once the child lets out of school, but before the parent gets done with work. So what we're looking for are people who will work with us in providing that care to children. The children that we serve are kindergarten through 6th grade in age, and depending on the location, the hours change, but it's primarily during the week only, so Monday through Friday. And some of our sites have care from as early as 7 in the morning, and it lasts all the way until 6 p.m. And some of our sites provide only morning or only afternoon. We provide care in Springfield, as well as in Chatham, in Sherman, Riverton, and traditionally in Rochester, although right now Rochester has gone to remote only. So we'll be housing those children in some of our facilities in the Springfield area. For the most part, the care that we provide covers a wide range of activities. We do arts and crafts with the children, STEM projects, physical games, group games, board games, and then during the school year, especially right now since we're having so much remote learning, we also take time with them to help them with the homework that they have from school. We don't do one-on-one care, it's not tutoring, but it is working with the children, reading any questions that they might have, helping them with instructions, those types of things. So if you've worked with children before, or if it's something you think you would enjoy doing, we are the place for you. We can work around your school schedule, depending on what you have for class and remote learning that you might be doing. That's also something that we can work at. And we have a wide variety of positions available. They include everything from staff who work directly with the children, and then also supervisory positions where you oversee the staff who are working directly with the children. I'd like to give you a little bit of information about what we're doing in terms of COVID and safety measures. So all of our staff wear masks at all times. The children are in masks as well, other than times where they're eating, or if they're outdoors engaged in physical activities where they're spread out, or if they're in our pool swimming. We do health screenings for staff and children. So that means every morning when they come in, there's going to be temperature checks as well as questions asked related to COVID and how they're feeling, how the staff member is feeling right now. We have very strict cleaning policies in place, as well as strict requirements in terms of the capacity of people that can be in any one space at one time. We follow the CDC guidelines as well as YUSA and the guidelines that are established by the state of Illinois. So there is a lot of precautionary measures that we take when it comes to serving the children. Something else that I'd like to mention is that all of our staff are CPR and first aid certified, as well as training for childcare that comes through the state. And we pay for all of that training to be done. It's not something that has to be done the moment you walk in the door. You would have, depending on the training, 30 to 60 days from the point of hire to get that done. So if you're interested in working for us, I'd like to show you how you go about applying. I'm going to try to share my screen here so that I can show you how that works. So what you would want to do is go to the YMCA of Springfield website. So that's springfieldymca.org. And this is what the website looks like if you are on your computer. Of course, it's condensed a little bit if you're on your phone. And you want to go to the More tab and go over to where it says Careers and Internships. So we have paid positions, we have internships. We're also connected with UIS for work study, so you can go through the financial aid department if you're interested in a work study position. And if you scroll down, you can see the different opportunities that we have. So for the positions I'm talking about, you're going to want to go to the Work at the YMCA, and we'll go there in just a minute. But I also want to call your attention to the fact that we accept volunteering. If you've got hours that you need to get for a specific class or an opportunity, then volunteering is definitely the spot for you. We have internship opportunities available. And then lifeguarding is one of those key positions that we're always looking for staff. So if you're certified as a lifeguard or you enjoy swimming, that's definitely something you would want to look into. But if you go right here to the blue box that says Work at the YMCA, this is going to take you to the main site where we have all of our job opportunities listed. And this gives you a little bit of information here about who we are as an organization and what our mission is. If you go over to the left, you'll see the different departments where we have job openings. So aquatics is going to be lifeguards and swim lessons. Corporate office, health and wellness is going to be our group fitness classes, as well as job opportunities for working on the wellness floor. So that's where all of the machines are, the cardio equipment, free weights, things like that. The marketing department, membership department. The membership department handles the needs of our members. They answer the phones, they work the front desk. Sports, and then youth development. And youth development is the program I oversee. Those are the specific jobs that I'm talking about today. So you'll see that there's 13 different opportunities there. Those aren't individual, we're only hiring 13 people. Those are just the different jobs that we have. So clicking on youth development, you can see the 13 different openings. So this takes you through the different jobs that we have available. So for example, right here, school age center group leaders for the school year of 2020 to 2021. So school age refers to those children I was talking about, kindergarten through 6th grade. So anywhere you see that school age, that's what we're talking about. And this gives you specific information also about the department is youth development, the date it was posted. This location is Glenwood Elementary School, so that's in Chatham. And then you would go over here to the red button and click apply. Once you get into the system and you get set up with an account, you can go in and simply click as many of these jobs as you want to apply for. You don't actually have to go in and create a different account per school. So for example, this one is at Sherman Williamsville Elementary School. So there are a wide variety of job opportunities there depending on the location that you're interested in. I am going to stop sharing my screen. Okay, so one other thing that I would like to mention that I think is very important right now is we're asking for a lot of flexibility. The schools are constantly in a state of flux. We are having literally plans released from a school about what they're going to be doing for their students, and then the very next day that changes. So we're going to work with you on the location where you're able to work, as well as the hours that you're available, but we will ask for flexibility. So for example, we had planned to have care at Rochester Elementary, and then we found out that that school is going completely remote. So now we're going to try and provide that care at our downtown facility. We would just ask that you be flexible and work with us on that, because that change is going to be pretty quick. And so we may be reaching out to you and saying, hey, I know you were scheduled to work at Rochester, but we're moving that care to this location. Can we get you to move with us? Can we make those arrangements happen? So just a little bit of a heads up there that we expect that to last for however long we're working through this situation with COVID. The other thing I would like to mention is that once you're hired by the YMCA, you do get a free membership, and you're hired by the YMCA as an organization. So for example, if you get hired and you're working in our childcare program, but then you decide that you'd like to pick up some hours lifeguarding, completely okay. Or you're hired and you're answering phones at the front desk, and during the summer you would like to work summer camp, also completely okay. The staff within our organization move from department to department based on their needs and their schedule changes. We hire anywhere from 300 to 400 part-time staff during the year. So it's very flexible, a wide variety of job opportunities. And in this particular case, the child care opportunities that we have, there are some temporary full-time positions available. So if you do have the ability to work 40 hours a week, there are positions available for that full-time. Those aren't posted today. They're going to be posted in the very near future. But if you want to go ahead and apply today, make sure that you express interest. You've got some opportunities to put notes and information in there, and just make sure that we have that information, that that's something that you're interested in as well. So that's kind of an overview of everything that we have available and what we're looking for. And I am happy to answer any questions that you might have, or any additional information that you need I can provide.
Thank you so much, Sarah. So for those joining us live in Zoom, do you have any questions? If so, you're welcome to unmute and ask your question, or if you're more comfortable, to type in the chat. Sarah, I have a question. You'd mentioned kind of the need for flexibility and adaptability just during this time that we're navigating. In the childcare specific positions, are there other skills and qualities that you think are particularly important, or things that you typically look for that help someone to be successful in these roles?
We look for someone who enjoys children. Now, whether or not you've ever had a formal job watching children, a lot of our staff have younger siblings. Sometimes they've babysat before. Sometimes they've coached different sports teams. All of that's great experience. Working with children takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of energy. And so when you're working in youth development, we really want you to enjoy your job. And in order to do that, you've got to enjoy working with children, and just being willing to, get down on their level, play the games that they want to play, have fun with them, and have that patience that's necessary for, in the reality, some of these children are with us 10 or 11 hours a day. We spend more time with them on some days than their parents do. And so just really be patient and loving of those kiddos that we've got.
Thank you so much. That's a wonderful thing to keep in mind, and certainly, yeah, all good things to be thinking about. So, any other questions from those in the meeting? Maggie, it looks like you unmuted yourself. Did you have a question?
Yeah, I was wondering about I guess is there like a specific amount of like years of training with children you have to have? Because for example, I've worked at a summer camp at my high school for 3 years, and I've wondered if like that's enough experience.
That's enough experience.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. We hire, I know for those of you in college, you're probably older than 16, but we hire staff as young as 16. And for many of our staff, we are their very first job. So, when I say experience with children, literally experience with children that may or may not have been paid. So Maggie, the experience you're talking about is absolutely perfect. Definitely what we're looking for.
All right, and Sarah, it looks like we got a question in the chat. Someone that's interested in the opportunity, that's new in their college experience, but wants to know if they needed to have a little bit more flexibility in their scheduling due to focus more on their education and grades, if there'd be some flexibility in terms of scheduling, if they needed to reduce their hours at certain points.
Sure. No, we can work with you on that. What normally happens is that you'll be assigned a schedule, and with all of the positions that we have, I mean, things happen. People get sick, you take vacation, stuff like that. So all of the positions that we have, we also have people who operate as subs for those positions. So for example, if you are assigned a shift that's, let's say Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 2 to 6, well, there would also be a group of people who could take that shift should something happen and you can't be there. So you get sick, you get a flat tire, you've got a family event, something like that. It's your responsibility to reach out to those people to find someone to cover your shift for you, but we intentionally hire to make sure that there are subs available. So a lot of times what happens is we'll have staff who get to the end of the semester and finals are coming. And so, they want to take a week and maybe drop 2 of their evening shifts so they've got some time to study for finals. So then it's your responsibility to reach out, find the subs, contact, see what you can work out to get those shifts covered. But it's not in any way, you're not going to be penalized for taking that time to study or to do what you need to do. The other option is if you want to work, but maybe you don't want to work a committed schedule, then you would apply to be one of those subs. And so what would happen is you would get alerts. We work through an online scheduling system, and you would get alerts saying somebody needs their shift covered Wednesday night from 2 to 6. And so you look at your schedule, you've got the availability to do that. You pick up the shift, you cover for them, but it doesn't mean that every single Wednesday you're working that shift. And I can tell you that subs are our most valuable employees, and so everybody treats them really, really great because those are the people that cover for them when something happens and they can't be at their regularly scheduled shift. But working as a sub also gives you a lot of flexibility because then you're only picking up shifts based on, basically a week by week what your availability looks like. So I would say in either of those scenarios, either as the employee with the regular shift who's getting someone to cover for them when they need to study, or as the sub who's only working when they have availability, either one of those provides you the flexibility to make, your school and your classes, your grades, your priority while you're in college. It's a great question.
Thank you for that overview, Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
Was another question?
Yeah, I have a question. After applying, how long will it take for us to hear back?
Probably pretty quickly. We're hiring for, right now, we have 7 different locations that we're hiring staff for. And that's just within youth development. So if there are other positions that you apply for at the same time, I can tell you that health and wellness and aquatics desperately need staff right now as well. So it may not be a 24-hour turnaround, but we have schools that start August 17th And then everybody, we've only got 1 or 2 schools that start on the 17th, but everybody else starts on the 24th. So, I mean, we've got to have people hired, trained, in place, ready to go by August 24th. So it's a pretty tight turnaround for us to be able to get all of the staff in place. So my expectation is, fill everything out, and if we've got a spot for you, you're going to hear from us pretty quickly.
We had another question come in through the chat asking if the child positions are at local schools or if some of them are at the YMCA.
Yes to both. So right now, and again, subject to change, right now we have positions in the elementary school in Sherman, in Riverton, and in Chatham. But then we also have positions at our Carasotas location, the downtown YMCA, and then we have a campground that's on Lake Springfield. And so we have positions at all of those locations. Again, subject to change. At this point, until school goes back into operation in what we would consider a traditional manner, we will always have positions at our 3 locations. So that's going to be downtown Carasotas and the campground. The school site locations are going to be dependent on what the schools give us access to.
Great. Any other questions? I had one other question, if that's okay, Sarah.
Yeah, of course.
For the sub position, would that be available if, would the person in that role be able to get notification for any of the locations potentially to sub in, or is it specific to one particular spot?
No, it's not. Now, I can tell you that with COVID, we're trying to limit the locations that our staff go to simply to prevent cross-contamination. So my answer applies a little bit more to a non-COVID type situation. But let's say, for example, that you're a sub with our traditional after-school program. Well, we have 6 locations. So you would see, as a sub, you would see the positions that are open that need a sub for every single one of those locations. And then you would pick the ones that you would be able to work. The same is true with any of the departments. All of, if you're a sub with the youth development department, so that would be camp, after school, our drop-in childcare, within that whole department, you would see all of the open positions that need subs for, usually we publish those schedules at least a month at a time. So it would just be whether or not you've done the training required to be able to pick up those shifts. But once you've done the training required, so for example, we have people who work for us that they might pick up a shift in Child Watch, which is our drop-in childcare in the branch, in the afternoon, and then that morning they were actually subbing at one of our campgrounds for a morning shift. So there's quite a bit of flexibility, and you're aware of that from a department level perspective for each month.
Great. Can you speak a little bit more to the training piece? So I know you mentioned the CPR certification requirement. Can you speak a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So to work for the YMCA, you have to be CPR and first aid certified. That's your first step of training. We do that training in-house, meaning that we have instructors who do the training, who certify you. And those classes happen several times a month. We get you into a scheduled class. Usually it's part online and then part classroom, so that you're actually, practicing CPR on a dummy, those types of things. And then there is what's known as a Living Our Cause training. And that's a shorter training you go to that basically is just giving you information about the YMCA, what it means to work for the YMCA. And those are classes that we provide ourselves. We have the instructors, you schedule the classes with us. And then there's also, for working in childcare, there are state mandated trainings that deal specifically with just growth and development of children. And those are completely online. So you have a 60-day window to complete those. You do them on your own time from your computer whenever is convenient, and then we pay you for the amount of time it takes you to complete them. So for CPR first aid, the Living Our Cause, and then the state required childcare trainings, you're probably looking at anywhere from probably 10 to 12 hours of training that you're doing. Now, you spread that over the course of the first 2 or 3 months that you work for us, but I mean, you're paid for all of that time. So just the training is going to get you a little bit of money when you first get your foot in the door to get that training done. And then we also want to make sure that, you know, we're not throwing you into a situation you're unfamiliar with. So whatever site that you're going to be working at, whether it be at a school, in a branch, you're going to do at least 1 or 2 training shifts there to where you're shadowing, you're working with other staff, seeing what's going on. Our staff don't ever work alone, but there will be times where you're assigned a group of children and the other group of children is over there. And we're not going to ask you to do that until we've trained you and you're confident and comfortable in that position.
All right, and thank you so much for that overview. And it looks like we had one more question come in through the chat about how to apply through the work study program. So I know, Sarah, we talked about that a little bit, if you want to.
Yeah, so I believe that's going to be going to the financial aid office, and that application is routed through them and then comes to us. So it's a little bit different, but if you qualify for work study, then you'll want to reach out to I don't know if it's financial aid, financial assistance. I'm not sure what the terminology is with UIS, but start there and let them know that you're interested in a work study position with the YMCA, and they'll get you the paperwork that you need, and then they route that to us.
All right, thank you so much. Any final questions or final thoughts from the group today? All right, well, seeing none, Sarah, thank you again for joining us and giving this great overview of information and sharing about these opportunities. Again, this session has been recorded, so it will be available afterwards if you'd like to review it and go back and check this out or get the information again. Finally, again, my name is Krista Nisbet-White with the Career Development Center, so come see us if you're working on your resume, if you have questions. Also be on the lookout for the Foot in the Door Fair, virtual fair that's going to be happening on August 27th, which the YMCA is also going to be participating in, so definitely keep an eye out for more information about that. Thank you all again for joining us. Sarah, thank you for being our special guest today, and hope everyone has a great rest of their day, is staying safe, and a wonderful weekend.
Thanks so much, Kristen. I appreciate the opportunity. Have a good afternoon.